The Meek Plot, so-called. June 10, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. My sources in the Catholic hierarchy are all scurrying around like mad ants, preparing for a big announcement about returning the assets to the indigenous people of the earth, trying to make their narrative about the meek inheritee.ng the earth play out in real time. Only the meek aren't meek, and it's all just more bull designed to excuse things that were always inexcusable now as well as then. It's time for everyone to fully realize that the only time that exists is right now. Trying to repair the past by making more injustices manifest in the present is just a recipe for disaster. So get ready for more idiocy on a half shell. If we were in receipt of anything like a good faith effort, which we are not thus far, then all the false doctrines would be sorted through and thrown out. It wouldn't just be the Doctrine of Discovery on the rubbish heap of history. It would be the Collective Entity Doctrine and a lot of other doctrines, too, examined and jettisoned as flotsam. The fact that the Holy See hasn't made correction and is more intent on pulling a big publicity stunt has not escaped anyone in my circle. It also hasn't escaped us that the stigmatics are all bleeding, all at once, all over the globe, indicating that Jesus is suffering over the idiocy of men and our governments and the violence and misery that their present actions, however well intended, are on course to cause. I guess that this is what comes from making men wear dresses and funny hats and not allowing them to get married and have families of their own. They lose track of actual life and what it is all about and what will work and what won't. I read the piece about the secret constitution, but there are no secrets, just things nobody has been told or bothered to learn. There are long-standing misunderstandings about our federal constitution, some of them deliberate, that need to be guarded against. So please bear with me once more. The United States is the proper name of our national union of republican states controlling the soil jurisdiction of this country. It was adopted on September 9, 1776. At the same time, a federation of states was formed and named the United States of America, controlling the international jurisdiction, both land and sea, belonging to the United States. 5 years later, in March of 1781, still during the full fight of the American Revolution, a confederation of states was formed doing business as the States of America. See how that works? Nation gives rise to federation and federation gives rise to confederation. It had to follow through in exactly that way and exactly that order, because the land jurisdiction underlying the soil cannot be accessed until and unless the soil jurisdiction, national jurisdiction, is claimed first, just as you can't define or get to the flesh of an apple without the skin. You have to claim the skin, that is, the soil jurisdiction defining the national turf in physical terms first. This is the home place of our Republican States of the Union, DBA, the United States. Notice that this is a proper name, the United States, and it is not the same as the United States. Next, you claim the international land jurisdiction underlying the soil and the international sea jurisdiction naturally belonging to the country, and for this job, our ancestors created states and a federation of states doing business as the United States of America. Note that this is a proper name, the United States of America, and it is not the same as the United States of America. You have to have physically defined states operating both the soil and land jurisdictions before you can create states of states and a confederation of these entities. Florida has to exist before you can have a state of Florida, and also, the federation has to exist before a confederation can organize. All these different entities occupy different jurisdictions and act in different capacities. The United States equals soil jurisdiction equals Republican States of the Union equals Texas Republic, soil, and Republic of Texas, surface water. The United States of America equals international land and sea jurisdiction equals states equals Virginia, Maine, California. States of America equals global commercial jurisdiction equals incorporated states of states equals originally the state of Maine, the state of Virginia. These are all called Confederate states, but they are actually all inchoate corporations. All the entities that fought in the American Civil War were commercial corporations, not actual states. Obviously, states of states, that is, commercial corporations acting as Confederate states at all levels, can be chartered by any government. Our big problem has been that our original federal states of states, Confederate states, were all disabled and mothballed in the wake of the Civil War, so we've had foreign chartered interlopers in here cracking the whip. So now it comes as no big surprise that there are three federal constitutions, either. The Constitution for the United States of America, governing the structure and operations of the States of America, the original Confederation, describes the duties and limitations of this government under contract to provide certain enumerated government services. The 1787 Constitution is set up to define exactly what powers the states are allowing the states of states to exercise for them and under what limits. It addresses American business organizations under contract to our states to provide stipulated government services, but there have been no American organizations in this position since 1868. The federal states of states haven't been reconstructed. Instead, the Brits and the French Benelux Swiss Holy Roman Empire goons have been in here, helping us out of house and home and substituting their own territorial and municipal state-of-state organizations to do the work of our own federal states of states, like the state of Maine. The Constitution of the United States of America reiterates the structure and duties of the United States of America, the British doppelganger operating in our name to exercise our powers delegated to it. This addressed British business organizations under contract to our states to provide agreed-upon services. The Constitution of the United States, again reiterates the same basic plan for the municipal government which is operating in our name to exercise our delegated powers for us. This addresses the rights and duties of the municipal corporations which, like the states of America, are all business organizations in the business of providing stipulated government services. The Constitution set up the three branches of the federal government, federal, territorial, and municipal, to provide us essential government services and to exercise our own powers for us to provide those services. The constitutions are glorified government service contracts backed via international treaties. They spell out which subcontractor gets to manage which piece of the pie, a pie that belongs to the states of the Union. The constitutions are international contracts, not commercial contracts. That is why you can't reach the constitutions in a municipal court, and the strongest evidence there is yet, that the creation and attempted foisting off of municipal persons named after Americans is a deliberate attempt to circumvent the constitutions and their guarantees. If we are acting in the capacity of persons, we can't get there from here. We can't invoke the protections or the guarantees of the constitutions as presumed to be citizens of the United States. By conferring municipal citizenship on us and gifting us with multiple municipal persons without our knowledge or consent, the rats have attempted to subject us under commercial law and tried to make us liable for their odious hypothecated debts, and have deliberately sought to create unconscionable contracts with minors and do all sorts of other evil, and do it in our names, no less. This entire scheme has been a conspiracy to undermine and circumvent and vacate and otherwise avoid the lawful restraints and obligations of our constitutions, and to deny the American people the guarantees and protections they are heir to and owed.